like ceremony?
Well, they kind of did a ceremony, but it's you can only do so much, from afar. So
True. Crazy times. Crazy. Okay. So the live stream is good. I'm gonna hit record and then I'll get us started. Awesome. Okay. Welcome to the Make It interview series. My name is Tara, and today I get to interview Jesse Collins. Jesse, could you tell me a bit about your major in school, about yourself, and why did you choose that major?
yeah, so I majored in performing arts management at the University of Hartford, the Hart School. It was a long way to get to that major. I originally applied to the University of Hartford for their music business program, and I ultimately decided to go undecided because I wasn't quite sure what exactly I wanted to do. But during my first semester, I got to meet with one of the professors of the Performing Arts Management program. And basically, performing arts management is very similar to music business in that they kind of cover the same topics, except in the music business program, you kind of have more of like a focus on like a musical instrument or voice, whereas performing arts management, it mainly just focuses on the business aspect. So it decided to go that way. And yeah, I don't regret my choice.
That's awesome. I'm glad you were able to kind of go undecided and test that out. So did you always know that you kind of wanted to get into the music business industry, or were there other things that you, like growing up, thought you would do?
Yeah, so I would say as a kid, like I was always artistically inclined. I can remember I was super into like physical art and painting and drawing, and I at one point wanted to be like a museum curator. And I mean, it's kind of changed since then. I moved more towards like singing and theater in high school, which kind of influenced me more to choose performing arts management. And yeah, so that's kind of why I chose it. But it's interesting to like think back on what I wanted to be when I was a kid and see how that has changed over the years for sure.
Yeah, it's cool that it changed, but it also is kind of in that realm of art. Um, so when you were undecided for that little bit, how did you make the decision to choose like your definite major?
Yeah, so it was super interesting during my first semester. Like as an undecided student, you get to meet with an advisor and you get to kind of talk through every week, like, oh, this is something that might interest me, or, this is something I definitely don't want to do. And the advisor would help you kind of choose, like, um, what you were interested in, and then they would set up meetings with professors of those majors. And I got to meet one of the professors of my major, who really kind of convinced me to go that way and select that major. And the following semester, I was enrolled in performing arts management. And I actually had one of my friends from that first semester and who was also undecided ended up choosing performing arts management as well. So yeah.
That's great that you're able to have an advisor. I know I've definitely leaned on my advisor a lot for decisions, switching majors or whatnot, to kind of have a mentor. That's great. So looking back after you made that decision to pick the performing arts management major, what are some things that you really liked about it?
um I would say I really liked that it encompassed like not just music but also theater and dance. So I feel like well-rounded after completing the major. And it was really nice just having like an English drama class, but you also have like a music, or I'm sorry, a class on like the business of live music. So you kind of get to see those different aspects, and like you get to think about, do I really want to do more things in theater, or do I want to do more like live music, recorded music stuff, or even dance? And I really enjoyed that, we weren't just shoehorned into like one category. We could, have the ability to learn about all these different things that make up performing arts management. And it was really nice not just to, have be focused on like one thing. I really enjoyed getting to learn multiple things at once and especially seeing how it all like connects. Like in several classes, we've talked about similar things that we might have forgotten and they came up again. And, it's just interesting to see how everything connects in music and theater.
That is super cool that you were able to still have like a broad spectrum of things that you were able to work on and like you said, like feel well-rounded. Um, that's a great experience. Is there anything about your like college experience overall that you would change or add to or things that you like wish were a part of the experience?
Um, I would say I was more of a performer in high school. And I came into the university, freshman year, and I was interested in like continuing performing. And I think I auditioned for one of the a cappella groups, and I mean, ultimately I didn't get in, but I kind of wish I had pursued that a little more. Um, I really enjoyed like singing as a hobby, and I'd still like play piano a little bit, but I kind of wish I had developed the singing part more, and you know, kind of wish I had, taken piano lessons from like, my friends who know how to play piano and things like that. I feel like I kind of missed an opportunity to do that. But yeah, I mean, other than that, I don't really regret anything. And I didn't really hate much about college.
That's great. I think that not everybody has like a super stellar college experience. Um, and I feel like, there's always like, oh, I should have done that or I should have done more, but there's only so many hours in the day. Um, that's so cool that you were able to really enjoy like kind of as much as possible in your experience. Um, what types of things did you do maybe outside of the classroom, extracurriculars, work or whatnot, that kind of shaped your experience as well?
Oh man, there's so many.
I
I think
bet.
I kind of did the most in college. I would say one of the most impactful groups I was a part of was Red Tail Records, which is actually UHart's on-campus record label. I was actually the president my senior year. I started out freshman year, just joined about the same time that I became a performing arts management major, just to kind of check it out, see if, the recorded music industry was something that I wanted to do. And ultimately in that club, it was it wasn't as much recording as it was like doing live shows and like fundraisers and things like that, because you're a student club, you have to do some fundraisers. And ultimately I grew to become the marketing coordinator for the club and then vice president before I became president. And I feel like during my time I really learned a lot and kind of got to experience like the studio side of things, which was really cool. UHart has a couple different studios on campus. One is in the college of the science college, basically, the bottom of their building. And then the other one is actually in the Hart School's building for the music production technology students. And we got to use the one in the science building just because we had a lot of audio engineering students who were part of the club who helped us record music, and we had all these different bands on our label, and it was a really great experience, and I got to learn a lot and make a lot of great connections. So that Red Tail Records was definitely a big part of my college career. But other than that, I mean, for other professional experiences, I actually got to intern at the Monomoy Theater in Chatham on Cape Cod. I did that basically as a box office associate and house manager, which was a really great experience. Got to be there for basically the whole summer. And just we did about like 8 different shows, and they were each like a week long. So it was pretty intense, and it was go go go, and we didn't really have a chance to slow down or anything, but it was really great to kind of be in that environment with other students of my age, and fellow students from the university. Um, and I think the other internship I did was actually for Foundation for a Green Future, which is an environmental organization in Boston that kind of promotes green initiatives and such. And I actually was an event intern for them for their annual Boston Green Fest convention, which happens. I think the year I did it, it happened in Columbus Park, and on the Greenway and in Boston. So that was a pretty good experience too. And I got to kind of talk with some of the artists that we had on the stage, and kind of got to we got to plan it, and we got to pick like who we wanted. And I got to communicate with them and also help run things on the day of the show, which was really cool. I hadn't really had an experience like that before, and I was really looking forward to it because I think I'm more inclined to work in the live music industry. So that was pretty cool. And I guess the last kind of experience that still has a major impact on me today would probably be my current part-time job at the Playhouse on Park in West Hartford. I'm currently the box office manager there. I started about 3 years ago and started as a box office associate and house manager as well. So that's kind of really helped me develop more professional connections and get to experience live professional theater.
That is incredible. That is, I was like, after the first thing you told me, the Red Tail Records, that's,
Yeah.
first of all, I think that's like the coolest school org you could join. I like come from a very engineering heavy school, not a lot of arts. So that to me just sounds like so cool that your school like provided that for you guys. And your internships and stuff too, like those sound like great opportunities. Were those things that you applied for or like networked? Like how did you get these opportunities?
Yeah. So I would say the Monomoy Theater one was actually sent. The person who used to run it actually worked at the Hart School at the University of Hartford. So they were kind of asking people in the music business department where my major was, if they had any students interested in doing it for the summer, and that's kind of how I found out about it. And it was a pretty easy decision. I really wanted to spend the summer on Cape Cod doing box office manager stuff and learning as much as I could. So that's kind of how I figured out that one. And then the Foundation for a Green Future one. So part of the performing arts management major is doing an internship like for credit. So this one was for credit, and I kind of scoured the job boards and everything, looking for something remotely related to what I wanted to do. And this one happened to come up, and I was super excited to work with a small organization in Boston. And it turned out to be a really great experience, and I learned a lot from it.
That's great. I'm glad that like you had these opportunities and you saw them and you took them. That's awesome. So now that you just recently finished school, you've had these awesome experiences. What do you want to do now, post grad, or I guess what are you up to as well?
Yeah, so right now I'm the box office manager at the Playhouse on Park. I'm doing that pretty much all the time. I don't really have anything else to do right now. But I am interested in working in the live music and event industry in the future for when we can all gather again safely. I'm really hoping to get a job in that sector, and I hope to one day perhaps program events for like a live for a performing arts center. Like in Hartford here, we have the Bushnell Performing Arts Center. So I hope to kind of be on that level someday and get to like kind of pick, what we put on at the theater or at the venue. So
Yeah, I think a lot of people will be excited for that day that we can all gather for live music. And I hope that, hopefully it happens soon, and hopefully that, a lot of doors open up for you when that happens. Um, that's great. So my last question is, what is a piece of advice that you would want to give students? So maybe think of high school students who are not sure what they want to do yet in college, or, undecided majors. What's advice that you would give them?
I would say, it's okay to not know what you want to do. I'm constantly changing my mind every single day of what I want to do with my career. I'm still not really sure. I don't really have like a 5-year goal, and it's okay not to. I would say, just to, figure it out, try and get involved in as many things as possible. I think that really kind of helped shape what I want to do. And I guess, get as many experiences as possible. I think that's really the best way to figure out what you want to do with your career.
Thank you so much, Jesse, for sharing your journey with us and sharing your advice as well. I'm super excited for other students to hear this.
Thank you.